So, today in class, we're going to be talking about camera settings and gearing us up towards having a little bit more control with cameras. But if you're practicing at home and you don't have a camera, don't worry. You can use the Lightroom app on your phone, whether you have Android or iPhone, and it's free. This is what the app looks like. And I do want you to take it to the pro level, but that is also free. And that's going to help us do some of the things that we would otherwise have to do on a camera. So, when we're using automatic mode or priority with a camera or with a cell phone, basically, this means that the camera or the cell phone is doing the work for you and it's making all the decisions. So you're deciding what to shoot and how to shoot it, but the cell phone or the camera is deciding how quickly to shoot it or how much light to let in, those kinds of decisions. So this is great when you're a beginner, but it can be kind of limiting, especially when you're seeing other photographers work and wondering how they got it. So when we say the word manual, what that means is that you are making the decision. So how fast the image is shot, how much light you're letting in, those types of things. And that's what we're working towards this semester. So some of the photographs that you might have seen and you've wondered, how did people get that? They're probably shooting in manual mode and taking some more control over their settings. So one of the things we're going to work on controlling this week is your white balance. And you can do that on a camera, but you can also do it in the Lightroom app. So it's going to help you control the light and the light temperature. So white balance, basically, instead of being on auto, I'm going to have you control the different settings based on where you are. So for example, if you're inside, you want your white balance to be set differently than if you're outside. So you can see over here, the white balance can impact how warm or cool your image looks. So for example, last night I was shooting the moon and my photograph was kind of warm. So I went in and I reset my white balance and then I was able to get a cooler photograph. So having some control over that can really impact the way your photograph turns out. Also controlling your ISO. This is the camera sensitivity to light. So the higher the ISO, the lighter the image is going to be, which can be really helpful in situations like a sunset. But you also want to have, the control to be able to lower if you need to. So for example, last night when I was shooting the moon, I had an ISO of more like, I think it was 125. So I wanted a lower ISO. So it just kind of depends on what you're shooting. You do want to be careful with it though, because if you go too high, sometimes your image can get a little bit grainy. So be careful with it. The other thing you're going to want to be using, whether you're using a cell phone or a camera, is the focus grid. So really thinking about what you're wanting in focus and using a grid to make that happen. So the tap feature on your cell phone or on a camera, using that focus point grid so that you can really control what's in focus and what's not. So if that's not something you really think about in your work, you want to really start thinking about, what you want clear and what, if anything, you want out of focus. So when you're using cameras, a lot of times there are specific camera settings. These aren't full manual. These are just some options, and they're a good starting point before you go into using manual. And on a Canon camera like this one, the settings are on the top here, and they have little icons. So portrait, macro for up close, landscape, shooting at night, food, and then capturing things in motion. So basically, when you're choosing these different settings, the camera is telling you how fast and how much light to let it in, but you're having a little bit more control than if you were just, say, on automatic setting. So this week we're going to be outside and shooting. We're going to take a photo walk and have some practice. So if you're at home, you'll want to go out and do the same and practice either with a camera if you have one, or you can practice with your Lightroom app on your phone. And we're going to be posting some of our results in Seesaw. So I look forward to seeing you guys' experiments and seeing what you learn. And I will talk to you later.